You know, I kind of lost my remote for my thing, which is not good. I have no idea where that went. Okay. Chat, we should be good. Played a test match. We're running. The servers are having issues. But guess what? We're back. We are back in our beautiful glory. How much are they weapon skins? Okay. I see it. We're schmoovin'. We are schmoovin'. We're gonna run. The watch? It is watch. Okay. Oh wait, is it Clash or is it Rush? I think it's Rush. I want to be looking out for. Okay. Servers should be good. I'm really hoping that they're fine. Yeah, I think crossplay does not work. We got into a match earlier. Servers are having issues. Chat. We should be fine. I'm really hoping we should be fine. It will get to the screen and then it will sometimes not want to go through. So I'm looking on Twitter just to keep an eye on things. But we did get into a match, which is always good. Earlier. As in like 2 minutes ago. Before stream. I probably should have immediately went live. Which is my bad. And I have a feeling that we're going to continue getting server issues, and I probably regret going live. But, you know, it's alright. Sorry, chat. I guess we're matchmaking for that. Didn't mean to, but I guess we are. Anyways, back to what I was saying. I wonder if quick play is a way to go. I'm just trying to see if anybody has like a patch around for this. I just every single game that just pops off for no fucking like. I'm not saying all games developers should be expecting their servers to be running at the highest capacity, but we're at a day and age now to where if you do enough advertising for your game, there's a chance that your game will pop off and there will be server issues day one. Huge possibility. And if you're a multi-billion-dollar studio, you shouldn't have this issue. And if you're a small indie studio, then I expect them to have some issues. Like I said, we got into a match earlier. Way earlier. Not way earlier. I keep saying way earlier. Stop. It's earlier. This match is up there. I wonder if there's anything. Okay, somebody made a Reddit post. Lovely day. The threads and the reviews are not looking good. I'm ran into this problem before. And the key thing is you take your mouse and you just gotta manually click through everything. Perfect. Just like that. Quite elegant, really. My thing is, how can we... Oh, dude, I should have gone live with that one match. That one match would have just... I would have just continuously had that match on replay. I'd be like, oh yeah, guys, we're back. We're good. And just continuously have it on replay. start quick play. Let's see Q and quick play does. I wonder what's the newest threads. Post new. In the meantime, let's go work on a build. I get a. Oh, fuck. Heals. I think I definitely want heals. I think I want that. Oh no, not this again. God damn it. Chat. I don't know, dude. Every single time there's just something new that happens. See, I don't know if having crossplay on is the key or not. Let's see what Twitter has to say. Try turning on crossplay. Hopefully he does not kick us out. Oh, dude, everybody and their fucking mother is trying to get in this game right now. This guy's live right now on Tekken 8. 2 million followers. How many people are watching his stream? Damn, imagine having like that many fucking followers just for that shit to just fucking just to drop down. I mean, still 1 point, however many is still good. We stopped it before. Stopped it before it got bad. No, they released a trailer for Joker 2. Watch the one time I want to go watch a trailer, I'm gonna go get into a fucking game. They're just gonna throw me in it. The one time. Yep. God. You. Let's do this here.
Hey, Fleck, you got a joke for us today?
We use music to make us whole, to balance the fractures within ourselves.
I'm nobody.
The color on this shit is insane.
I haven't done anything with my life like you have. Let's get out of here.
What the world needs now is a love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. What the world needs now is love, sweet love.
Tell us, what's changed, Arthur?
I'll tell you what's changed. I'm not alone anymore. That's what we should be talking about.
I want to see the real you.
Ten fucking four. Holy shit, that's fucking long. The fuck? Let's try this again here real quick. We'll try it, and then watch a video, and then try it, and then watch a video, dude. I don't know. I don't know what to do at this point. It sucks being so ambitious about this game, and just for it to just have server problems. I mean, I understand it. You know, it happens, but so my Discord buttons still don't work on this fucking stream deck. Okay, we're gonna try it twice. I'm gonna try it twice. Let's find a new video.
Hey, everyone, it's Schmuckles. Today we're going to be talking about the Friday the 13th franchise drama that's happening right now in regards to licensing, as well as what that kind of would mean for Jason Voorhees in Dead by Daylight. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you want news videos like this recommended to you by YouTube. I'm also live on Twitch right now streaming Dead by Daylight, link for that in the description below. I consider this channel to be sort of a central information hub for information regarding licensing news, leaks, speculations, theories, rumors, and just what could be next in Dead by Daylight in general. This licensing news and drama is actually very relevant to Jason Voorhees and the possibility of him coming into Dead by Daylight. It's really important to get all the facts of the situation correct. So first things first, on April 2nd, 2024, fans were bringing back the Friday the 13th, the game, with the new resurrected build. It was intended to...
I knew, but to be fair, I'm not saying that they didn't know that this would happen, but I knew it was gonna happen. I knew it. I've seen it from a mile away. And I knew it. My hopes for that was like little to none. To be fair, I don't have a emotional attachment to Friday the 13th, but I just knew.
Not only bring back the game unofficially back to life, but also to add brand new playable content into the mix, including new skins and characters from Jason X, the 2009 remake, and even fan films. The devs behind this new resurrected build gave out more information about it too. They said everything from the base game is included, Savini Jason is included too, we will be hosting our own servers, it will get continuous updates post-launch. All content that did not make it into the official game will be in our mod. You won't need the base game to enjoy our mod, the download will be available in our Discord server. The Friday the 13th, the game Resurrected release date was revealed to be April 15th of this year. However, on April 8th, Horror Inc. actually issued a cease and desist for the Friday the 13th, the game Resurrected fan mod. This was huge drama between the license holders of Friday the 13th as well as the Friday the 13th Resurrected mod team. The Resurrected mod team posted a ton of information about what actually happened. As you may be aware, we have received a cease and desist from Josh Geller, who works for Greenberg Glust and is a Horror Inc.'s legal representative. With that, the project is most likely over, but we do plan to work on other projects. We are still waiting for a response on some people we have contacted, but for now we are working on removing all of Horror Inc.'s owned content. And later in this tweet, they went on to say, it's a shame that someone wants to fight against a fan-made project with no profit made. It wasn't our intention to hurt the brand as Horror Inc. claims we did. And the Friday the 13th Resurrected team also said not only is the project over, but so is the franchise itself, as it seems Horror Inc. just wants to leave this incredible series behind them and let it be forgotten. Thank you all, and hopefully we'll see you soon, Resurrected team. And they actually posted the cease and desist letter. We're actually going to go over the cease and desist letter because it's very important to get the facts correct and understand from a legal standpoint what actually happened here. This is from Joshua M. Geller from Greenberg Glusker. It was sent on April 5th, 2024. We are litigation counsel for Horror Inc., which owns valuable copyrights in connection with the famous Friday the 13th franchise film, including the rights in the characters, names, settings, and other creative elements of the film franchise. Without limitation, Horror's IP rights includes its copyright for the motion pictures Friday the 13th parts 1 through 8. We are writing regarding your unauthorized use of Horror's IP rights to develop an unlicensed knockoff Friday the 13th video game dubbed Friday the 13th Resurrected. All of the unlawful game content is marketed under our client's brand name Friday the 13th and is replete with images of our client's IP, including of course the distinctive images of Jason Voorhees. You have used this content both in the game and in your advertisements and social media posts promoting the game as depicted below. All of these uses are unlawful and constitute copyright.
To be fair, it's not necessarily a game, it's a mod, but I'm not a legal expert, so I have no idea.
Infringement. There can be no dispute that you know your conduct is unauthorized and unlawful. Indeed, in your Discord, numerous users have pointed out that proceeding to distribute this game without a license would obviously be copyright infringement. Those warnings are correct, and your cavalier disregard of copyright law exposes you to liability for willful infringement. Among Horror's other remedies, Horror will be entitled to seek statutory damages of $150,000 per infringement. Horror has invested a substantial amount of time and money to build the value in the Horror IP rights all over the world. Horror will not sit idly by when its rights are being infringed. It will not hesitate to commence legal action where necessary to protect its rights. Without limitation, we have begun submitting copyright takedown notices to all of the relevant platforms where you've been posting infringing content. In order to resolve this matter without further legal action, Horror demands that you immediately 1. Cease marketing, advertising, and exploiting the unlawful game content in any manner whatsoever, including without limitation on any social media sites. 2. Cease using any of Horror IP's rights in any manner. 3. Destroy all advertising or promotional materials utilizing any of Horror IP's rights. 4. Disable and disconnect the unlawful game content from disseminating to any or all consumers. And 5. Destroy all unlawful game content. We expect you to provide evidence that you've complied with the above demands on or before April 12th, 2024. And it's signed by Joshua Geller. While things have been absolutely crazy for the Friday the 13th franchise and community ever since this happened, the Friday the 13th Resurrected account that actually posted this information with this cease and desist no longer exists, and their YouTube content has been copy struck as well. There's been a lot of outrage from the Friday the 13th community. People getting mad at Josh Geller, you suck bro, and they said a lot of really horrible things to Josh on Twitter. Josh Geller, who I can only assume is receiving so much backlash, has now locked
He put his
down
account on
to
private.
protect
What a
their
pussy.
posts in their accounts. Womp Stomp Films said Sean Cunningham is mad he lost the Friday the 13th lawsuit, and now he's taking out on Friday the 13th Resurrected, doing the Lord's work. This game is free marketing, energizes the fanbase, fixes a mistake he made, and absolutely does nothing to hurt the brand, all over a free game. And Womp Stomp Films is actually...
There's a game. We're having server issues, so in the intermits of everything,
Twitter
we're watching a
account for the
video.
filmmakers behind-
We're watching a video of every time we queue. Every time we queue for like three times.
behind the fan-made Friday the 13th film.
Still having
I
server
did more
issues.
research on Greenberg Glusker as well. They're an LA law firm with expertise in IP, and it seems like they're representing Horror Inc. in this situation. Josh Geller on their website is listed as a litigator whose practice focuses primarily on entertainment, IP, and complex commercial litigation. He has experience in entertainment space representing studios, production companies, video game publishers, musicians, graphic artists, and other independent content creators.
This is about the Friday the 13th Resurrection mod that they were going to produce. They're basically the license holders to Jason Voorhees. We're like, you're not doing this, fuck you. And yeah.
So a lot of people are really unhappy about this. We can actually learn some things about the license holders from this interaction. One is that it seems like Horror Inc. has the authority to write cease and desist letters for people using Jason Voorhees-like things in video games, which means that they would likely have the power to license Jason Voorhees into Dead by Daylight. Like, they would be the specific entity to actually be able to do that, somehow regardless of Victor Miller reclaiming the rights to the original film in the US. And there's been speculation amongst news articles that this cease and desist actually could have something to do with what longtime franchise composer Harry Manfredini said. This was in regards to a new Friday the 13th game being in development, meaning that the new game could very well be announced soon. As for details on the new game, the only info so far is from Manfredini himself, and he said the game will not be another asymmetrical multiplayer title, and that it will feature more realistic looking characters this time around. I mean, I don't think Womp Stomp Films has ever received a cease and desist or any problems with the license holders despite doing fan-made films that actually use Jason Voorhees in the films. I think that these films were actually acknowledged and embraced by the license holders in the past, and this was during the lawsuit time period when horror was actually not able to create new Friday the 13th movies. So in a way, fan-made Jason Voorhees at that time period isn't really hurting the franchise in any way. It's not like those movies are getting traction right before a giant release of a feature film in the Friday the 13th franchise. So to my knowledge, they never received any cease and desist and were pretty much able to do these fan-made films. I find that very interesting that now someone in the video game space is getting a cease and desist. That could very well be labeled as damaging the IP because there could be future video game things to come from the franchise. So things like this non-asymmetrical multiplayer title, as well as a Jason Voorhees in Dead by Daylight chapter, is something that could be...
My prediction is that they make a Friday the 13th game like, fuck, what's the game called? Having a brain fart. The story-driven fucking games, or you're gonna make your choice, shit like that. Games like that. I have a feeling that they're gonna make something like that. And I have a feeling that Jason will still never come to Dead by Daylight, but I would like to be proven wrong. I would love for that to be not the case.
On the cards in the future for the franchise. And some people might consider this cease and desist letter as sort of a hint towards that. At the very least, this story actually exposes that Horror Inc., for the first time since the lawsuit, has the authority to shut down Jason Voorhees' video game properties. And I think that's pretty significant because that's brand new information to us. We didn't really quite know who owns the video game licensing rights since the lawsuit's been over. It could have been Victor Miller, it could have been Horror Inc. We weren't really sure how the legal rights were privately distributed behind the scenes.
Yes, we can only
This
hope.
entire story adds some clarity to that. So is there a Dead Dead by Daylight Jason Voorhees chapter in the works? It is honestly really hard to say, but who knows, maybe this cease and desist is sort of pointing towards that. Make sure to like this video and subscribe to this channel if you want news videos like this recommended to you by YouTube. And a reminder, I'm also live on Twitch right now streaming Dead by Daylight.
Okay. Let's try this again. We're gonna go a couple more times. Apparently we've been in a queue for 10 minutes and I didn't even realize it. Let's try this again. It's not gonna find it. We're gonna try it 3 times and then back to watch. And I don't think they posted anything on their Twitter recently, so let's see. No, nothing on their Twitter since past hour. How long have we been live for? 30 minutes? Sure, cross. We get the. I think we had crossplay off when we got into the first match. I think having crossplay turned off will help. I'm praying. I really hope so. I just want to know why we got into the match the one time I didn't. I just want to know. What's up with the drunk text? I have no idea where Ethan's went. I have 0 idea. Matchmaking, come on. No tweet. No tweets. You get notification. YouTube. Okay, we're gonna try it one more time, and then we're gonna go back to watching videos. Well, good thing they didn't release competitive off the rip. Alrighty. Gideon Midlane, dude. The fucking somebody made a fucking thing from 6 years ago on fucking Paragon. It's not predecessor, it's Paragon. That's what he did. He's live on Twitch. Playing this shit, I wonder.
DC's falling.
I just want to know how these people got. Oh, I thought somebody else was watching somebody else's stream.
Randy Pitchford, the CEO of Gearbox Software, the company behind.
You know what's funny? Gearbox owns fucking Gigantic, and they own Battleborn. They had two options to choose. Two. They decided to go with Gigantic. They did not trust their whole idea behind Battleborn. They said, fuck it, let's re-release Gigantic.
Behind both old and new major franchises in Brothers in Arms and Borderlands respectively. One of the more polarizing heads of a company, having many controversies tied to his name. Besides his personal drama, which is hard to divorce from the company that he runs, we have the ever so drama-filled story of a troubled MOBA in disguise that was also steered potentially awry by the ever so cocksure CEO. Battleborn, one of Randy Pitchford's creations, clearly borrowed many of its elements such as its color and art style, as well as the sarcastic over-the-top sense of humor from their blockbuster IP and Borderlands. What made Battleborn unique was less of a singular feature and more of its use of a conglomerate of them. Battleborn would have the unfortunate trajectory of launching the same time as Overwatch would go into open beta.
Visually, this looks like shit. It looks so fucking bad looking, but that's just my personal.
and launch shortly after. But besides this very high-profile competitor launch affecting the title, and the drama of their CEO and their lead initiative, Battleborn was a title with its own strengths and weaknesses. Perhaps more of the latter could explain its very sudden drop in population following its launch in May of 2016, and, well, it's being featured in this series. Battleborn might be one of the highest profile flops we have seen from a major publisher in Take-Two Interactive and developer in Gearbox Software. While some of the reasons are more apparent, some can certainly escape identification at first glance. In this episode of Death of a Game, we take our step into the rabbit hole of magic tricks and edgy quotes and attempt to diagnose the largest reasons behind the death of a game, Battleborn. Not every mystery is so mysterious. Every trick has an equally non-tricky explanation. So stay tuned near the end of this episode for the final deduction so I can make sure you guys were keeping up with the clues along the way, and stay for the end credits for a teaser on the next Death of a Game in progress.
The ending of Borderlands sucks! You're welcome, Internet!
Oh, and one last thing, detectives. Stay tuned soon for not only the addition of a new series, a series dedicated to explaining the origins and meaning of video game terminology, but also a new content creator and detective to boot. Gearbox Software as a company started all the way back in 1999 Frisco, Texas. Formed by Randy Pitchford, Brian Martell, Stephen Ball, Landon Montgomery, and Rob Hieronymus, Randy Pitchford would assume the role as CEO, being the face of the company for a number of years. After a number of projects including Half-Life Opposing Force and Blue Shift, they truly rose to stardom in 2005 with the Brothers in Arms franchise that spanned many different titles amongst a number of platforms, including Xbox, PC, and PlayStation. 2009 would prove to be Gearbox Software's mainstream moment when they managed to hit it big with the not-so-likely hit in Borderlands, often described by CEO Randy Pitchford as the game that was projected to fail. For the past decade, this game has created an entire franchise that across 3 different mainland titles has managed to sell more than 45 million copies. But although the story of Borderlands in itself is surely one worthy of a tale, it's not the story we are set to tell today. Instead, Gearbox Software, likely following their recent successes with Borderlands and the confidence that comes from such, would announce a multiplayer-themed Brothers in Arms title dubbed Brothers in Arms Furious 4, utilizing their previously largest IP. Announced at E3 2011 by Ubisoft originally, who was set to publish the title for Gearbox Software. Gearbox Software would later acquire Brothers in Arms as a series, which then became an intellectual property of Gearbox's. Much like Borderlands was the goofy kick that the looter-shooter loot-em-up style of game might have needed, Gearbox was intending to do the same to the more military, warlike, realistic style of Brothers in Arms as a franchise with Brothers in Arms Furious 4. Originally set to be a casualized sequel with a complete cartoony and stylized approach to World War II as a subject matter, the game would follow 4 characters as they rampage through Germany to track down Hitler himself. It was quite the departure from the previously launched hit Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway, which personally was a classic favorite shooter of mine. That departure, though, for many fans from the military realistic style of game seemed both unwarranted and a bit of a reach. Brothers in Arms Furious 4 just didn't seem very Brothers in Arms. Details about the game ultimately were scarce, especially as 2012 came along just 1 year later, and reports concerning Brothers in Arms Furious 4 stated that the game was still alive, but no longer a Brothers in Arms game. Randy Pitchford revealed at PAX Prime that Brothers in Arms Furious 4 had evolved too far from the Brothers in Arms blueprint and needed to be unshackled, which in turn created an entirely new IP. Randy Pitchford, in an interview with IGN later concerning the change of direction, stated that the fans of Brothers in Arms not believing the game was an authentic experience based on their showing at E3 was a large reason they pivoted off of the idea of Furious 4 in the Brothers in Arms franchise. It would be another 2 years until more details were released concerning this mysterious new IP. Accompanied by a high-profile trailer was the announcement from Gearbox Software that the long-developed behind-the-scenes since 2011 not-so-secret project was finally getting a name, Battleborn. Battleborn was, as Randy Pitchford described, a genre-fused, hobby-grade, cooperative, and competitive FPS exploding with eye-popping style and an imaginative universe. Battleborn is the most ambitious video game that Gearbox has ever created. Or in English, Battleborn was set to be the hybrid of a MOBA title with a first-person battle arena. The competitive mode, titled Incursion, was just that. 5 versus 5 full of NPC minions waging a war against each other. This mode would then have up to 20 levels and would allow for customization of a character, a la the typical MOBA experience such as Dota or League of Legends. Battleborn would feature a story mode playable with friends in a co-op match, or a private story mode, which meant that the game would only be played online. 3 different difficulties would await the story mode, which consisted of 8 story missions and a prologue mission, all designed to be repeatable episodes. Players would choose amongst 25 different heroes, each with unique abilities and playstyles. This was quite the amount of heroes to boast for a launch product, especially for a hero shooter, as Randy Pitchford continued to advertise the game as. 25 heroes, however, made much more sense in the context of a MOBA. Accompanying the
You just can't do that. He had such a steep competition behind their shit, and he's just like, yeah, it's a fucking hero shooter. No, it's not. It's a fucking MOBA. You fucking idiot.
single player always online and cooperative campaign was 3 versus modes for PvP or player versus player enthusiasts. Incursion, the aforementioned mode, the main mode, was essentially a MOBA style map with minions on both sides designed to beat down and destroy the enemy team, heroes, and minions. Some secondary modes were added to complement Incursion. There would be a King of the Hill style map called Capture, and another MOBA inspired game type dubbed Meltdown, which was about escorting as many minions into the enemy base as possible. Now that's a nuts and bolts explanation of the features of Battleborn. The game offers quite a lot up front, but other than resting on the features alone as a means of selling the title, or perhaps the prior track record of Gearbox software, Randy Pitchford made it his goal to attempt to garner as much hype as possible for Battleborn, taking to Twitter for his choice of platform. Battleborn is a FPS, hobby-grade, co-op campaign, genre-blended, multi-mode competitive, esports, meta-growth, choice plus... Okay. Even if it was true what Pitchford was selling, the way he was selling it could potentially hurt people's expectations of the game. Because sure, it did have most of those aforementioned mechanics, but promising an esports scene before the game even had a scene period has nearly never gone well historically. And of those aforementioned mechanics, but promising an esports scene before the game even had a scene period has nearly never gone well.
I know 2 of these fucking games, dude. I know 2 of them. And I'm trying to play one of them that got Rebirth. And I was late for one of them. I never got to play Lawbreakers because I was on Xbox. What? God damn it.
Historically. Although I am certainly teasing Randy a bit, the way that he would describe Battleborn at times just seemed like what you would ask of somebody who just threw a bunch of stuff on the wall and was like, yep, that's our game, that's what it is. When you have a passionate CEO at the helm, it can do a lot for marketing and the advertising of your product, in this case your game, especially with such a polarizing one as Randy Pitchford. However, sometimes a creative driving voice can become associated with a game's failure as well, and using Cliff Bleszinski and Lawbreakers as an example, which I have all
Lawbreakers, God's honest truth, Lawbreakers died because it was not released on fucking Xbox because he had a fucking gripe with Microsoft. Cliff, you know it's the truth, buddy. Okay? What you need to do is re-release a game now, as still advertising it as a hardcore fucking hero shooter, and you get everybody fucking bored. That game had so much fucking potential, and you didn't want it. It's plain as simple as that. You did not want the fucking potential. And what you do is you re-release and add fucking crossplay to it, and boom. Crossplay is king in games nowadays. It'd be a little bit difficult to keep track of like aim assist and shit like that, and people fucking bitch cry and cheaters and shit like that. But you slap a $20 price tag on this fucking thing, and boom, people are fucking buying it left and right. You advertise it to fucking streamers, get streamers on board. That's how media is nowadays. People are so attached to fucking streamers. You get that shit on board with any fucking streamer, you're good to go. Example, WWE, Logan Paul, IShowSpeed, fucking KSI, streamers, content creators. Big, they're known on the internet. You know what's big on the internet? People watching the fucking internet. You know what's people are gonna watch? People are gonna watch your shit now because you have these content creators attached to your shit. Okay? Fuckers.
Also covered in my series, sometimes an over-the-top cocksure approach from a developer or a creative mind can put your product in a compromised position. Either it smashes all the newly garnered and freshly minted expectations from all those buzzwords that you used on Twitter, or it does slightly worse and people use the drop in expectations to call your game a flop or a failure. It's kind of a lose-lose sometimes. The giant elephant in the room since the beginning of this video, no, since you guys saw the video title and clicked to watch it, Battleborn had the absolute pleasure of having a similar launch cycle to none other than the most famous hero shooter we have seen yet, Overwatch. Overwatch was pushed forth by gaming industry titan Blizzard at BlizzCon 2014. Overwatch would be a 6 vs 6 multiplayer focused shooter wanting to accomplish fun and over-the-top characters. Both of these things sounded similar to Battleborn's vision. The main difference was that Overwatch was targeting the hero shooter FPS crowd, and not the MOBA crowd. Although Overwatch boasted ultimate abilities that had long cooldowns such as MOBAs did, there was no leveling in the game, and PvE at launch was non-existent. Overwatch, unlike Battleborn in that regard, was focusing primarily on PvP modes, and would not boast a campaign mode or even a single-player mode. At first glance, it seemed as if Battleborn was going to have the upper hand in that regard, offering more variety of heroes at launch than Overwatch did, and boasting multiplayer PvE and PvP modes. But as Randy Pitchford later recollected in an interview, their reaction after learning of Overwatch and the launch that was going to coincide with his Battleborn, what was the mood like internally the day you find out that Blizzard's doing Overwatch? Were you afraid? Absolutely, because you notice really quickly that, holy crap, the launch dates are going to step on top of each other. I remember when Blizzard announced Overwatch, we were already committed. We were announced, we had our date, we were running for it. I went over to Take-Two. You know Activision's going to outspend us every day of the week. They're just going to brute force it. We can't overcome that. There's nothing we can do to beat the brute force part of the fight. So we took the attitude of, look, it's not a fight.
And you know what? Fucking Overwatch showed up day one. It was like, fuck you, bitch. And fucking took that crown as the best hero shooter at the time. And look where it's at now. In the absolute fucking gutters. And the hero shooters need to make a return. And we need to get rid of the battle royales and make the hero shooters good again. As our political campaign, hero shooters need to be good again.
Man, let's just focus on our goals and make the game that's fun and the game we want to make and trust it'll work. These are wise words from Randy Pitchford. Recently acquired Blizzard with a new Activision to match was certainly going to pour a lot of resources into making sure their new multiplayer-focused hero shooter Overwatch was successful. And perhaps it was best of Gearbox to steer clear of being compared and competing with them.
Yep.
Well, that would be the smart thing, right? This is the same year you had Randy Pitchford on Twitter arguing that Battleborn wasn't actually a MOBA. So instead of averting this Overwatch ticking time bomb, Randy seemed to just throw gasoline on the whole situation. Not only is your game built like a MOBA, you're now telling people that it isn't, in a sense, to actually draw comparisons from the title that you wanted to avoid competing with. Yeah, that's a bit confusing. Battleborn would have a quiet closed beta test in November of 2015, taking a few more months to make it to open beta April 8th, 2016. And all the while making public challenges to Overwatch, the same title they yet again mentioned in that previous interview that they wanted to avoid competing with. Okay, at this point, I'm convinced this is some elaborate magic trick. Right, Randy? Open beta impressions were erected concerning Battleborn. The inspirations from Borderlands concerning the multiplayer MOBA shooter were certainly felt in both tone and the style of the art. As one writer from Tech Times put it, however, though, that's where the comparisons with Borderlands ended. Battleborn has more in common with a MOBA like League of Legends than with Borderlands. The other unique part of Battleborn in comparison to League or Smite was the fact that it was all first person. And on top of that, another innovation of the MOBA model was that the fact that you took the store with you concerning the typical gold and item shop present in most MOBAs. Battleborn was being favorably talked about amongst critics and those who were able to test the game early on. If such would be enough for the game to do well commercially, would remain to be seen. The open beta was successful for Battleborn overall, as over 2 million players had participated in the test. Gearbox Software
2 million players at the time was a fucking lot back then. Now, if you're beta and shit like that, like 2 million, don't get me wrong, 2 million is a good number. It's a really good number. But holy fuck, dude, we've hit like betas where they've hit like 10 million fucking players. Shit like that. Yeah.
Were likely on a schedule put on them by publisher Take-Two to launch May 3rd, 2016. Well, in a genius act of counter-programming, that would be the same day Activision Blizzard would be opening the beta for their own hero shooter title, Overwatch. At first glance alone, this can be seen as a significant blow to Battleborn. When you take into consideration that the title was also aiming to be priced at $60, that presents with it a number of large problems. First, the two biggest MOBA titles, League of Legends and Dota 2, were both free to play. Second, Overwatch, Battleborn's competition whether they wanted to or not at this point, was being priced at only $40. And since it was a multiplayer only game, the price kinda made sense. Launch had provided a number of problems to Battleborn before it had ever even gotten very far past the starting line. Battleborn was going to be seen as priced out of the market by both MOBA and hero shooter standards. This was a risky position for the game to be in, as unless people really thought it was going to be worth that $60, but worth it when compared to Overwatch, which although was priced lower, had this higher perceived value, yeah, problematic to say the least.
Overwatch just did a smarter business model. I already know.
Battleborn would continue its launch on May 3rd, 2016. Battleborn would score 69 out of 100 on Metacritic out of 34 different critics, and score a 7.1 out of 10 according to 399 player ratings. Steam, a major PC platform that Battleborn was released to, had mixed reviews at 63% overall. According to Steam charts, Battleborn had peaked at 1,270 players, and averaged around 4,000 or so. These numbers, while not entirely accurate, were dangerously low for such a high-profile multiplayer-only shooter in Battleborn. But the reviews from well-known media outlets such as PC Gamer, IGN, and Polygon weren't overly negative. PC Gamer stated that although Battleborn wasn't Borderlands 3, it was very obviously cut from the same cloth. Talking about its strengths in their review, such as enjoying the few story missions in Battleborn, mentioning how similar they seem to Borderlands might give Battleborn a crisis of its identity to a certain extent. In terms of unique aspects
That's
of
crazy.
Battleborn,
I don't think
when compared
Overwatch
to
had
Paladins
like
or Overwatch, that was surely going to be
server
the
issues day
multiplayer
one.
PvE
I'm pretty sure it
focused story
didn't.
mode. PC Gamer concerning these missions stated that the story missions aren't lengthy. However, and that's the crux of Battleborn's issues, it is hard to not wonder where the rest of the game is. Of the same PvE story mode, IGN in their review stated that Battleborn's 7-hour campaign lives and dies by the quality of 8 stages, which are mostly repetitive with the exception of some standout moments. Each one is essentially continuous waves of the same enemies broken up with more creative boss battles and/or a base defense sequence. Both reviews talk with trepidation concerning Battleborn's PvE game modes, their criticisms essentially amounting to, okay, but it could have been better. That's before we even get into discussing the PvP response concerning Battleborn. This is where nearly every major review I stated said that Overwatch was just simply the better competitor, and it could nearly be left at that. With Overwatch's open beta drawing over 10 million players, that statement sort of seems true. But the argument shouldn't just be, well, Overwatch has better PvP modes and polish than Battleborn.
The funny thing is, I remember being in a Xbox party with some friends when both the games were releasing, and I kid you not, we were fucking split. We were split on the fucking two. Like, it was me and Ethan. Well, no, he didn't even play the game. Correction, it was just me by myself on Overwatch. And a bunch of my other buddies because they played fucking Borderlands. They were really excited for Battleborn. Kid you not. And I was really excited for Overwatch. don't know what the reasoning was. I think it was because Muzalk, which is a TF2 YouTuber slash Overwatch YouTuber slash Fortnite YouTuber, had was making content on it, and that's what really got me hooked on the game, was the gameplay videos from the beta. And I kid you not, it was just me, and it was just split. It was just absolutely fucking split.
Battleborn, and just leave it at that, when the games aren't really supposed to be competing in the first place. This is where games can face the wound of expectation, especially an incorrect or confused expectation. Randy Pitchford was selling the next Overwatch from the guys who did Borderlands. What Battleborn was instead was as originally pitched, a hero-infused first-person MOBA, which on its own was something of merit, as most reviewers, even those that were more negative of the game, could at least highlight. When many players jumping into Battleborn had the wrong expectations, the one that don't assume that you're going to be playing a MOBA at the end of the day, well, you can see how first impressions of Overwatch versus Battleborn could be quite brutal. Since Battleborn has a level curve, you don't get max power until you're level 20. In Overwatch, you're immediately powerful and you don't need time to ramp up to it. This is because, yet again, I have to iterate, Battleborn isn't supposed to be compared to Overwatch. It's supposed to be compared to the likes of Smite. And considering Smite's gameplay loop and overall influence, I think it's quite fair to say that Gearbox Software did a damn good job there. Randy Pitchford and Gearbox Software had the opportunity with Battleborn to differentiate themselves concerning the perception of their newly launched title. And instead of steering away from the giant elephant in the room, they steered right into it. And the result was, well, you sort of expected it at this point. Overwatch would launch a few weeks after Battleborn following their widely successful open beta. Converting over 70% of those 10 million players into sales meant that Overwatch had, in just 1 week, sold 7 million copies. And in just 1 month, Battleborn's population, according to Steam charts, had already dropped over 75%, dropping all the way down to 2,317 peak players. Battleborn had no chance to compete against Overwatch. Not only could they not keep up with the cheaper price, they simply just couldn't keep up with the fact that although they had offered more heroes, Overwatch had instead focused on less, but more iconic characters. This is an ever-reoccurring theme in the battle of Overwatch versus Battleborn. Simply put, less was more. Where Battleborn promised many different mechanics spanning different genres and many different modes of play, Overwatch focused on the multiplayer PvP modes and made sure to get those right. Where Battleborn created 25 zany and colorful characters, Overwatch took a more subtle approach to art overall, but also regarding its characters. Heroes in Overwatch have both simple to see and hear cues that allow you to know which abilities are being used and which heroes are being played. Battleborn's art style being so, for lack of a better word, over-the-top flamboyant makes the art style either work, so you love it, or it comes across as just simply being too much. Overwatch
what I said
is a
in the
lot
beginning.
subtler,
Kid you
and
not,
thus
that's
far
what I
less
said.
offensive to those who dislike such a colorful style of graphics. Throw in the fact that Overwatch's minimalistic UI and the overall ease of access was just simply better than Battleborn. Damn it, I didn't want to spend an entire section comparing Battleborn to Overwatch, but it's hard not to when you see the overwhelming impact. It doesn't matter that they shouldn't have been compared together anymore. That happened already, and those wounds were mostly self-inflicted. It didn't matter that Battleborn was fundamentally a different game anymore. The perception was just simply too strong. And it didn't matter that Gearbox shaved off $20 from their newly launched game and introduced a new character with it. The cogs were already in motion, and Overwatch was already full steam ahead. Battleborn had already collided head-on with a train that didn't look like it was slowing down anytime soon. Population numbers for Battleborn would only continue to shrink. In August of 2016, having shrunk to 1,891 peak players and a mere 692 on average. Those sorts of numbers were screaming for a change. Any change, but a big change, and fast. The $60, then $40, and even the $20 on Amazon and other select retailers' price, this was still seeming like it was too high of a price tag to attract new players. Price point certainly is an issue for some, and more often than not, the damage is done at release when it comes to a business model. But sometimes a dying paid title can still summon a bit of life when making business model changes to free-to-play. According to a Kotaku article in August of 2016, Battleborn was rumored to be going free-to-play soon, a much-needed change for a game struggling to find play period, especially one attempting to be a MOBA in a market of free-to-play MOBAs. Every time we see Battleborn associated with a good idea, or an idea that could end up being successful, we seem to see an equally opposite reaction from their CEO, Randy Pitchford. This is almost on brand at this point, when just a month after the rumors of Battleborn going free-to-play was various tweets from Randy Pitchford himself denying such claims. Instead, Randy was stating that it was a free trial, and there would be purchasable DLC. And well, Randy Pitchford would prove to be right, as going into 2017, he kept on his promise of keeping Battleborn a paid product. Instead, Randy Pitchford was more focused on doing more stunts for attention, posting a link to a Rule 34 Battleborn-style subreddit, using
What the
porn to
fuck?
advertise his game. I mean, what a son of a... Wait a minute, you genius. I'm sure the addition of a few Rule 34s, though, gets balanced out when you turn your slowly hemorrhaging title to free-to-play to pump some much-needed blood back into the system. In a since-removed interview with Randy Pitchford in January of 2017, Randy fielded questions concerning Battleborn and its lack of success. When asked about Gearbox's return on their investment concerning Battleborn, however, Randy Pitchford was non-committal, stating his publishing partner 2K Games was a publicly traded company. Randy then urged people to understand that we're okay, I'm not freaking out, we're fine. That sounds exactly like what you would say when your most ambitious project at your company yet, as of 2017 in January, was struggling to break even 4-digit population numbers. Meanwhile, Overwatch had sold just over 25 million copies. Kotaku would also break more news concerning Battleborn, and apparently the originally teased and rumored, nearly a year in the making free-to-play trial would be finally introduced and would make the competitive multiplayer free-to-play for Battleborn. According to the same sources, the Battleborn free-to-play trial thing, as they were calling it, had been delayed multiple times internally, though the end product, which made the multiplayer PvP modes free-to-play, was ultimately what was originally expected. Now that Battleborn was up to 30 characters overall, the trial would allow for players to choose from 6 of those heroes on a rotating roster, kind of like most MOBAs. This made free trial players able to earn heroes over time. In order to play the story missions, you needed to purchase the DLC that would upgrade your game and cost $20. Following the free-to-play trial, Battleborn's population had gone up quite impressively, going from 180 players to 1,561 players peak, and averaging 417 players, which was up from the previous month's 82 players. These little blimps on the radar just weren't enough to sustain Battleborn, an always online multiplayer title, and within 1 month, the population had dropped back down 63%. One more month in August of 2017, and we have seen Battleborn at the lowest population numbers that we had seen yet, even after going free to play. Randy Varnell, hey, another Randy, the creative director behind Battleborn in the fall of 2017, would signal the fall update schedule would be the last update for Battleborn as a product going forward, and there was no further plans for future content. While this certainly was taken as a dagger by the few in number but passionately infused Battleborn audience, it was not surprising for the struggling multiplayer title. Creative director Randy Varnell and others would be shifted to work on a shiny new Gearbox project, which was probably Borderlands 3 in hindsight. With the development for Battleborn ceasing though, it was difficult to see any positive outcomes for the game, saving Gearbox simply just keeping the servers running, which they would continue to do for a number of years. The short-lived life of Gearbox's misaligned Battleborn, which for some was already seen as quite dead, would continue on for 2 more years until news came out in
2 more
2019
fucking years
that Battleborn would have a targeted offline date scheduled in the future. January 2021 would prove to be the final resting place of the troubled hero MOBA shooter hybrid. With the execution date on the docket and Battleborn being removed from digital stores, we know that death is in sight. And if you're like me though, you still might have some questions concerning the rapid failure of Battleborn. We've covered in detail Battleborn and its Overwatch problem. We've highlighted the high-profile contradictory and problematic stunts and responses of Gearbox's CEO Randy Pitchford, but we haven't spent nearly as much time discussing the game itself. The biggest thing that stands out to me regarding Battleborn as a game is the word hybrid. The game and nearly all of its advertisements is talked about quite highly because of this particular aspect of the game. The blending of a hero class shooter style of a game, driving inspiration from Team Fortress.
God damn, dude. Okay. They queue for 30 more fucking minutes. This is insane. Okay, let's try this again. This shit is so fucking painful, man. Like, I thought the game was gonna do fine, and we weren't gonna run into these issues. But holy fuck. It's just so heartbreaking. I know it's like temporary, but still. I'm glad that I didn't tell like a lot of people, a lot of my friends, so if I can get this shit. I told my friends. Okay. We're gonna restart this game here. Crystal, and do me a favor. Rhett. Oh man. Like, why? It has to be just one fucking person. Everybody. Everything is bad. We're in a queue, normal queue. Hopefully the servers are fixed because it's been going a little bit longer. Hopefully, maybe, I don't know. This is a sign of absolute insanity. Give me one match. That's what all I need is what. Oh my fucking god, we finally got it. Thank fuck. Unreal Bulletin. Thank you for the follow. Perfect timing. Absolute fucking perfect timing. Thank the fuck. Orange Joey. Oh my god, look. It's my favorite color and my name. I think we're back. I really hope the god of the servers are fixed. And that was the initial sign of it. But I said that last time when I played the fucking match. But we are finally in a fucking match. We're finally in a match. Thank fuck. Thank God, dude. This is a pure sign of insanity. Oh, I have a feeling we're back. I have a really good fucking feeling we're back.
Prepare for battle.
Thank fuck. No, this guy's immediately in for it. Damn it, boost him. Steal this. God, it feels so fucking good to be in the fucking game again. Damage increase. Nice, they got him. Very nice. Yes, fuck them up. They pathing? They have the actual fucking pathing to where to go. Thank the Lord, dude. They're having fucking people lose this shit. Get in there, boyos. Motherfucker, you're seriously going to follow me around. Let's see. He is committed to the fucking chase here. on. Come on. Thank you. Okay, we're good. We're good. We're back. Fuck this fucking ox guy, by the way. Damn it, boost our team here. I'm not gonna fight you. You can go fuck off. You can go be a annoying piece of shit somewhere else. Fuck you going, little bro? There we go. Damage booster team up. Wait, there's an actual fucking pathing there? That is insane. I did not know that. Who are you hitting? There we fucking go, dude. Fuck out of here. That's fucking GG to this point. Killing spree. Fucking up their tree. Fuck your tree. World's fastest fucking match. You can't tell me otherwise. This is insane. Okay, this is a fucking match. Oh, it didn't even save the fucking match. God damn it. That was my 2 seconds worth of joy right there. I don't think we're ever gonna get that shit back. Oh, no! I don't think we're ever gonna get it. That match was too quick. Way too fucking quick. Ah, okay. Try it again. Oh man. We were right fucking there, chat. Right fucking there. We got done with the fucking match and it was like less than 2 fucking seconds. Like that was a very short fucking match.
Stay clear, scrub.
I wonder if they gave what's her name some new outfits.
Battle greetings.
Now it just doesn't even cue us. God.
We greet you.
So funny. You could usually have him jump. Like, you like Flappy Birds. Okay, chat. I'm gonna make myself some pizza real quick. I'll be right back. Let's do this here real quick. Boom. And quick play, maybe? Oh, no. Watch, as soon as I step away, it's gonna fucking work. Every single time. Chat, why did the game give me? I just want to be able to find a game. Hold up. Okay. Chat. We're gonna end the stream. I just don't want to work. So, that being said, if it does work, hopefully by tomorrow we'll be live tomorrow. So,